Well, welcome back.
Welcome back
to another Wednesday whiskey review from your boys at the Buffalo Happy Hour. Today, we have a small batch, just kidding, a straight bourbon whiskey from this distillery in South Carolina on Dufusky Island.
Is that what's up with the crabs?
Yeah, dude, that's what's up. It's on an island. We'll get to it. Mike, say our sponsor today, please.
First of all, this doesn't cure. Wow,
What?
This does not cure crabs. So just so we'll
you don't
see.
know that yet.
All right. So anyways,
We'll find out after this interview.
This one's interview.
Yep.
This one's brought to you by Addie's. Addie's is a family-owned and operated establishment located in Williamsville. They have an in-house wine sommelier, very knowledgeable staff, and a huge selection with an app. So, of course, there's an app for everything, but if you are interested, you can have something shipped right to your door if you live in the state of New York for spirits. So head on over, download their app on the Apple App Store, the Google Playground Play Store, and you can dive into all things that they offer at Addie's. So, Derek, this is a straight bourbon out of South Carolina. So,
I want to make sure we're recording. Yeah, right out of South Carolina, Dufusky Island. So you're familiar with Hilton Head.
yes, I'm familiar with Hilton
Are
Head.
you familiar with Savannah, Georgia?
Savannah, Georgia? Yes.
So Dufusky Island is an island that's between Hilton Head, South Carolina, and Savannah, Georgia. It's kind of like, it's an island off of the coast. There's no mainland connection.
Okay.
So you actually need to take a ferry to get there, which is very interesting when you talk about a distillery, because a distillery is not the easiest thing to build in the world, and you kind of have to ship your grains everywhere. So this distillery, Dufusky Island Distillery, opened in 2013. It's only one of 2 island distilleries in the entire United States.
What's the other one?
I don't know. Didn't look. But there's no bridge connection to the mainland. So again, when you're building a distillery and you're transporting stills, that has to come over on a ferry, bro.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Big deal.
They started off as a rum distillery. That's kind of what they're known for. They do make their rum there. They do not make their bourbon there. And I'm going to be completely transparent. I couldn't find anything really on their website. And I tried to message them on Instagram. They did not respond by the time that we recorded this. So we're kind of going to hypothesize on some of this information because none of it was, there was no reviews on it because this is a very small town product. It's on an island. People aren't accessing it a lot. They don't really have a good website because it's mostly focused on the rum that they make.
Okay.
And they didn't get back to me on Instagram. So reading the back of the label, you can see that it says aged and bottled in Dufusky Island Distillery, which if it's aged and bottled, but not there's no term that says distilled in, my assumption is this is probably a Kentucky or an MGP product that they sourced from either MGP or Bardstown Bourbon Company or something like that.
Okay.
And they brought it to the island to finish aging it and then to bottle it there. That's what I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
The age statement on this is 3 years, so I'm assuming, again, based off the information that we know, it's been in South Carolina for 3 years. I would assume, I don't know if they had some aging in Kentucky and then they brought it to like finish it in South Carolina. Because for bourbon laws, all it has to do is be made within the United States. It doesn't have to be made in Kentucky. Anything can be called bourbon as long as 51% corn and a lot of other reasons. But bringing it to South Carolina to an island to distill it still within the continental United States, it's still considered bourbon. So that's why it's a little bit vague. But yeah, they aged and bottled in Dufusky Island. This is straight bourbon whiskey. And that's about it. We don't have any information around their mash bill, but their ABV is 46%, which is 92 ABV.
Yes.
So that's what we got.
Okay. So label branding. Then we'll dive into the nose, the initial taste, the ending note, final rating, and finally if we would have it in our own collections or not.
Yep.
So we'll start with label branding and go from there. So first things first.
Good sound.
Synthetic.
Synthetic.
Super synthetic. The most synthetic. So,
They didn't even try to make it look real. They're just like, rubber is good, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
And then there's crabs. We don't know if it cures it. And we are trying to see what else we can hypothesize from the label itself, which isn't too much except for the brief generic info that you would need for the legal authorities to approve said label.
Right. So the bottle's kind of cool. I like the shape of the bottle. It's not a traditional
Correct.
whiskey bottle, which
Yeah.
I like. The label, though, to me, screams, let's make a distillery and try to keep as much in-house as we possibly can. Like, let's have somebody that we know in our friend circle that can do some sort of graphic design make us a label. This is not a professionally done label, in my opinion.
You don't think?
There's a crab on it, that's fine. Like Defusky Island probably has a lot of crabs there. Like I get the whole point of it, but this does not look like a well thought out label that is meant to go on the shelf and garner a lot of attraction.
I'm gonna go C+ check for label and branding.
Yeah, I'll go C+ check. I agree. I agree. I mean, we talk about this too quite a bit when we review this stuff. There's like about 5 different fonts on this label too, which again, as a consumer looking at a bottle, nothing about this bottle kind of jumps out and says, I want to try this because this is a cool bottle. You wouldn't say this for a decanter. You wouldn't really do anything. I mean, the only thing with this bottle is I believe it is relatively cheap. I think that we're looking sub $40. Again, I couldn't find anything online because it's not sold around here and they don't have anything listed on their website. Okay. But I'm thinking this is sub 40. So when you contextualize that with label branding when you go into a liquor store, that's probably going to catch your eye more than the label will.
Sure.
So C, what'd you say?
C+ check.
C+ check. I agree.
Nose. It does smell like Kentucky, doesn't it?
It does smell like Kentucky, but with like an odd saltiness. Like a little bit more of a briny aspect to Kentucky that you normally don't get.
This is an inviting nose. I do give it that.
Yeah,
it makes me want to try it. It's not off-putting by any means. I'm going to go B+ on the nose.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take you up on that. B+. I agree. It's very traditional. Like, I mean, obviously, you're getting a lot of vanilla, a lot of caramel, some oak, but mostly a lot of corn, too. Like, this isn't a very... It's not aged for very long, so you're getting a lot of that youthness from the corn in here, too. Mm-hmm. But I am getting a little bit of, like, a briny, kind of... Not like a sea salt, because I associate that more with, like, the islands off of Scotland, but...
Based on just holding this in the glass and seeing what it does and literally, like, not to steal the term from wine, but like the legs of the whiskey inside the glass, it looks like it's going to be viscous. I'm just curious to see what this actually tastes like.
Yeah. So B plus?
Yeah, for the nose. Initial taste.
All right, initial taste.
It actually travels really well in the sinus cavities. I like that. Travels through your nose. It's a very high hug. No, it's not.
No, I felt it all the way down.
No, it's a very low hug. Yeah. Very, very low hug. That was delayed.
Yeah.
That was exciting. Dude, this is a perfect option for a Tuesday. Get home from work, don't really care anymore, and you just want to drink. More on that later. There's definitely some baking spice in this. There has to be some sort of...
Probably a little rye.
Yeah, would I dare to say there's some rye in this? Like,
it would probably be like the typical... If I were to guess, it would probably be that typical MGP mash bill. That's like the 74% corn, 21% rye, and 5% malted barley, or something along those lines. That's what I would guess.
Yeah, whatever that math is, math.
That does accurate, or that is accurate, not that does accurate. I'm getting a lot of barrel, a lot of young oak.
Which is interesting for a 3-year.
Yeah, but I think that has to do more with... I don't know. I'm really torn because it actually tastes very thin to me, and thin and oaky, which I actually don't enjoy.
Really? Yeah. I don't mind this at all. My initial taste rating would be B+ check. I'm fine with this. It's also not super viscous. It's not like really viscous, but it's got some element of that where it's not like syrup.
Yeah.
But it lingers. It takes its time to actually get to where it wants to go.
I feel like we are talking about the initial taste, so I'll give you that with the initial taste because the initial is right when it first hits your tongue. It does kind of taste a little syrupy, but the initial taste is so short for me because then you get that transition to the low hug and that like thin oakiness that kind of almost leaves the ending note which we'll get to, but a little empty in my opinion.
So initial taste, B plus check.
Let's go B plus.
Okay, B plus.
B plus.
B plus for the initial taste. Ending note, I agree. Very flat, very one-dimensional, nothing
Very
there.
oak.
Yeah, very oak. And it just makes you want to try more of it so that you can just re-experience the initial taste because it's very top-heavy. It's I don't know. I feel like it would be a good partner in a relationship because it's very forthcoming. Gives it everything up front. There's nothing hidden. So...
Yeah, I'm not against that. I still don't like the ending note that much. I'm gonna put a little drop in there just to see. I'm not a huge fan of it just because the initial taste, now that I drink more of it, and this might be as a result of I'm not a fan of the ending note, but I'm getting to be more appreciative of the initial taste because there are some complexities in there that you kind of have to let sit on your tongue for a little bit. Like now I'm kind of getting more of a caramelized sugar in the initial taste where it has like that sweet, like burnt sweet type. But then that's also making the ending note taste even more not off-putting, but it's not having the ending note shine because the ending note now, instead of it being a burnt sweetness, it's kind of like a burnt wood, which I don't like drinking house fires. So like I'm not a huge fan of that ending note. The initial taste though is growing on me the more that I drink it.
Yeah.
So ending note, I'm honestly gonna go C minus.
C minus. Mm-hmm. Okay, C check then? Mm-hmm. Okay, C check. I agree. So we got to hit this with a final rating and then talk about our collection piece.
Okay.
So final rating, give me that countdown.
Actually, before we do that, there's a little bit of like an almond or a walnut too in the initial taste. I'm finding more, maybe it was because of the water, but I'm finding more complexities in the initial taste because I'm drinking it so much quicker because I don't like that ending note.
The caramelized sugar I can definitely see.
Almost like a toasted almond or something.
Yeah, there's an element of it. And it's not like a fig, thank God. I feel like that would just ruin this. I really want to know what grain, like the source of the grain.
I can almost guarantee you it's Kentucky. Or MGP.
Yeah, but like what farm? Like what state?
Probably Indiana.
I want to dive into the weeds, bro.
All right.
Give me that countdown. Yeah.
3, 2, 1. 79.
Yeah, 79.5. That tracks.
Yeah.
So for your collection, you said that this is potentially somewhere sub $40 in Western New York.
Yeah. I saw their rum was about 34, I think. But I could not find the price on this. And again, I tried to look at their website and I tried to message them. Let me look at my phone right now just in case if they happen to message me back right this second, which I don't think they did. But, no, just kidding. So yeah, I'm tracking that this is probably sub $40.
Okay, so sub $40. You see it on the shelf. You've never heard of it before. Are you buying this and keeping it for your collection?
If I am in South Carolina on a trip and I want to bring home a whiskey from South Carolina and I saw this on the shelf and I saw that it's bottled and aged in South Carolina, I would buy it just to have something from that area in my house because it's not expensive, so you're not putting yourself out there by buying it. And it's a decent enough product that I would be okay with drinking it. But if they mass distributed this and it was in New York, I don't know if there would be a reason for me to buy it in our liquor store because, one, I didn't go to Defusky Island, so I don't have any need to have a memorabilia piece from Defusky Island. And two, I'm not that sold on this product that I would say for $40 I would totally do it.
Yeah, and if I go to South Carolina, I'm going to Clemson. Like that's just, yeah. So I would buy it. I don't know if I'd buy it twice.
Yeah.
So would I have it for my collection? No. Would I have it for a decanter on a Tuesday? Yes. Kind of torn, but I wouldn't I don't know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't see myself buying it twice.
Right. No, I hear you.
That doesn't ruin my love for Clemson, by the way, but,
That's fair.
I still love the state of South Carolina.
Well, if you do like the state of South Carolina, tune in because we have another one coming at you from South Carolina next week. So
Tiger
we can
Nation,
talk
baby.
a little bit more about that. Yeah, I mean, it's a fine option. If you go pick it up, let us know your thoughts. If you had this before, let us know because honestly, we could not find any reviews for this online or any information at all. DeFusk Island Distillery, if you are listening to this,
Give us some info.
yeah, give the boys some love, some little info here. Because, yeah, I mean, I would love to know a little bit more about it. But
Yeah.
from my standpoint, if this is in New York, I'm not jumping at it.
Right. Right.
They didn't send us this bottle. We don't have any relationship with the distillery, obviously, because we don't have any information on it. So if you do want to know more about our ethics statement, it is online. We do every single review truthfully. So even if Dufusky Island did send this to us, we would still say the exact same thing because we don't care. And we're going to give you the most honest review, and we're not an extension of some company's marketing department. So if you do want to hear more about that, tune in next week when we review a different whiskey from a different distillery within South Carolina, and we'll see you there. Mike, please remember always drink responsibly, be a good person, and Michael.
Do not litter.
We're out.